Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.
Welcome into room 442 from BMO Training Ground. I'm Sara Poraria along with Mikey Singh. Mikey, we just spoke to Bob Bradley a little bit, just saw some TFC training, of course, ahead of their big match again over the weekend against Montreal, another 401 derby, especially after that loss in the Canadian Championship. There's a lot of tension around this team right now.
Yeah, tension. I think the biggest takeaway from what we've seen so far today is just the injuries continue to pile up. Bob Bradley said it was the longest list of injuries that he's ever seen in his career by far.
And he's coached many teams.
He's many teams, many years. Hey, if Bob Bradley's saying it's the longest he's seen, it must be really bad right now at TFC. And of course, the big one is Michael Bradley, right? Bob Bradley telling us that today Michael Bradley will be traveling to London, England to undergo a procedure on his hamstring. He didn't say an exact timeline, but you got the sense that it could be 8 to 10 weeks, maybe a little bit sooner than that. But regardless, a long-term injury, and that's to your general, your captain in the midfield. And I think we've seen so far just how much TFC have missed that stabilizing presence in the midfield. So that's probably the biggest injury takeaway from today's session.
Yeah, we also saw Bob Bradley talk a little bit about Alonso Coello, and he wasn't too pleased speaking about him. A lot of uncertainty when he spoke about him, basically just saying he doesn't know how long he's going to be out for. And it's not a good injury, and he didn't really give us a timeline, which to me, I took that as this is not good, and we will not see him for several games.
Yeah, I think it's especially gutting just given the way that Alonso Coello started this season. Obviously, he started with TFC2, cracked through the first team, and he was taking full advantage of the opportunity that was given to him. He was such a enlightening presence in that midfield because he's so good with the ball at his feet, reads the game so intelligently, and he just offers a different type of profile at center mid that TFC didn't have. So to see him go down, not only is it gutting for the team, but gutting for the kid as well, right? So hopefully it's nothing too serious. He said it wasn't 2-2-2. I think he said literally 3-2-2-2 long term. But there's always a chance that maybe there's something further that they missed. So he said a good amount of weeks that Alonso Coello will be out with an ankle injury. So that's just another blow adding on to this really long list of injuries.
Yeah, and Sigurd Rosted as well. Bit of a bruised rib, it's kind of sounding like. He wasn't in training today. He was sore. It's not a fracture, Bradley said, but also, will he be feeling good enough to play on the weekend against Montreal? It just seems like it's a really tricky time for TFC because they haven't had the best start to the season. We know that. But now you're getting kicked out of the Canadian Championship against your rival, and you have to go and then play them, and you picked up more injuries playing against them. How do they go into this game hungry and wanting to fight at this point? Are they not defeated?
It's tough. Even you could see it. Bob Bradley's wearing it on his face, right? You could see how tough it is of an ask to say, okay, on Tuesday we didn't put in our best performance. We fall just short. We're at home, but now we got to go travel to Montreal in what'll likely be a little bit more hostile of an environment given the events that transpired midweek. And then you have to go find a way to pick up a win because it's more important now than ever. That's what Bob Bradley was saying. So he's got to find a way to will his group forward. Now, looking at the center back position, Matt Hedges won't be playing. Sigurd Rosted, as you just mentioned, probably not going to be playing. So then Shane O'Neill, same thing, also out. So those are 3 of your 4 center backs that are going to be sidelined. We saw Marc-Anthony Kaye play a little bit of center back on Tuesday night when everyone went down injured. We'll see if he can do that again, step in and play that role. But then also, you got to look at some TFC2 players that could potentially be called up for this game, right? Adam Perlman was training with the team. Courage was also playing with the team, Anthony Courage. So we'll see exactly what Bob Bradley resorts to, but it's a tall task. And hopefully the guys in that group, if they can find a way to get a win. This could be a win that just re-sparks that momentum within the group. It's a tough task.
A win they need, especially with no TFC fans allowed in Saputo Stadium after the events that happened as well. So really just adding to the list of reasons why it's going to be even more difficult for TFC.
Exactly, yeah. Obviously with the fights and everything that were going on in the stadium, Montreal has since come out and said that no TFC fans will be allowed at Stade Saputo. So yeah, an even tougher environment to go into. It's not shaping up too nicely right now for TFC. Montreal's won 5 games in a row on the other hand. We got to give them some credit too for turning their season around under Hernan Lozada. I don't know what to expect in this game. You can't really say. Can you honestly? I know they have Bernardeschi. I know they have Insigne. Can we say that we're going to expect much from TFC on Saturday?
Nope. I honestly don't think so. I think it's the energy, honestly, right now. It's how the players are feeling. It's not even about the talent, like you mentioned those two. But even the other guys on the pitch, it's not about that right now. I think it's if they're going to be able to switch off how they're feeling mentally, because I think right now they're probably destroyed. We saw how Marc-Anthony Kaye reacted to a fan. That's a breaking point to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something you have to deal with, right? Injuries happen to every club. Obviously right now, it's probably like Bob Bradley said, more than anything else he's seen in his career. But you've got to find a way to will and battle through. Because if you can, like I said, if you can get 3 points under these circumstances on Saturday against your rival, like it could be something that sparks this team, and this team needs a spark in some sort of fashion.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens in the second 401 derby of the week. That's right, TFC take on Montreal once again on Saturday.
Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.